Members of Parliament to continue their meeting this afternoon after a weekend recess. Kamuzu Central Hospital rolls out new insulin medication for children living with diabetes. And NAM recruits New Zealander Debbie Fuller as high-performance consultant. And now the news in detail. Malawi's second Vice President, Nkhani, was among prominent figures who attended the 43rd birthday celebration of Prophet Shepherd Bushiri in Lilongwe, where messages of global unity, economic openness and Bushiri's social and economic impact took center stage. Speakers emphasized the presence of delegates from over 70 countries as a sign of shared purpose, while traditional leaders pointed to Bushiri's contributions to community development across the country. Emmanuel Chikonso reports.
Malawi's second Vice President, Nkhani, was among prominent figures who attended for the third birthday celebration of Prophet Bushiri in Lilongwe. Chihana, who was accompanied by his spouse, Tadala Chihana, attended in his personal capacity as a follower of the Prophet. The event drew politicians, traditional leaders, members of the clergy, and international business representatives. Zimbabwe's presidential envoy and ambassador-at-large Hubert Angel attended as guest of honor. Prophet Bushiri said the presence of representatives from more than 70 countries symbolized what he described as global unity and shared purpose. Ambassador Angel told the gathering that allowing influential religious and business figures to operate freely reflects positively on a country's economic environment.
To have a prophet, a son of the soil, like Prophet Bushiri, is a blessing to the world, not just to Malawi, to the whole world. And you are proof that he is a blessing to the world by being here. Look around, that's a coat of many colors.
Traditional leaders were also in attendance. Inkosi Amakos Goman 5 said the celebration should remind Malawians of the contributions Bushiri has made across the country.
The support he provides to all peripheral of people, be it financial, mental, spiritual, is something that we all appreciate. And we thank God for his continuous support in the communities and even at national level. And we pray that God should continue to bless him with wisdom, knowledge and great understanding and good health.
The event also featured musical and theatrical performances. Congolese musician Kandabongoman and Zambian singer Yomaps were among the performers. Local artists included Steve Special and his sister Milako Chinga. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Members of Parliament are expected to continue their meeting this afternoon after a weekend recess. Deputy Leader of Parliament, Shadrack Namalomba, says he looks forward to tangible business this week as he describes last week's business as a good start. Our reporter Olive Piri looks back to the week just ended and paints a picture of this week in the chamber.
The first week of the second meeting of the 52nd session of Parliament centered on questions to ministers for oral replies and debate on the State of the Nation address delivered by President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika during the opening of the meeting. Ministers of Transport and Public Works, Health and Sanitation and Homeland Security tackled a number of questions from the members, seeking updates on construction of roads in the country as well as health and security issues. Among others, Minister of Homeland Security Peter Mukito told Parliament that police are acting with caution and professionalism in their search to find Managing Director of Crossroads Hotel, Samia Sakren, who was abducted by unknown people. Also in the House last week, a Member of Parliament for Mulanje South East, Buka Matemvu, who moved a motion to kickstart the debate on the SONA, commended President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika for delivering a State of the Nation address which is clear and concise, further saying that the country has a president now who understands what he is doing. A number of members commended President Mutharika for introducing free secondary education and facilitating the reduction in the prices of maize and other commodities. The House could not go without controversies. One such issue was brought in by member from Zimba South, Emmanuel Jere, who moved a motion to allow the House retable the Constitutional Amendment Bill on CDF. The House could not agree on whether to discuss it or not, as voting could not proceed due to power outages. The issue also led to 5 opposition members being suspended from the House, then the MCP members boycotting deliberations on Friday. Deputy Leader of the House, Chadwick Namalomba, says the deliberations have commenced well as members from both sides are speaking highly of the State of the Nation address. Namalomba, however, condemned the opposition MCP for boycotting Friday deliberations.
It's been a wonderful week, of course, with one mishap, but we continued with we started with the debates on the SONA, and members from both sides, from the government side as well as from the opposition side, rose in support of the SONA and in what the president had given direction.
The parliamentarians are expected to continue debating the SONA from today up to Friday morning. Some ministers are also expected to respond to questions from the members, while others may present ministerial statements before the Minister of Finance presents a budget statement on Friday, 27th February. Olive Piri, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Kamuzu Central Hospital has rolled out new insulin medication for children and young people living with diabetes with support from the Life for a Child organization based in Australia. The medication, known as Blianca Huma, will be administered to patients aged 0 to 25 and is expected to improve diabetes management compared to previously available options. Details in this report by Sheila Kasambiza.
For many years, diabetes has largely been perceived as a condition affecting adults or elderly. However, medical experts stress that children can also develop or even be born with diabetes, particularly type 1 diabetes. For Chikondi Mataya, a resident of one of the locations in Lilongwe, her child's diagnosis at just 6 years old was both shocking and frightening. Now the mother of a 13-year-old living with diabetes, she recalls the uncertainty and fear about whether the child would survive and live a normal life. Injecting her has always been a problem, but we still help her. And we have seen a great improvement. Her health has improved than it was before. We came here, and yes, we were helped. Traditionally, children have relied on 2 main types of insulin: rapid-acting insulin and intermediate-acting insulin. Clinicians say managing children on these older formulations has sometimes been challenging due to fluctuations in blood sugar levels. In a bid to improve care for children, Dr. Amos Nsekandiana, a pediatrician at Kamuzu Central Hospital, says the facility has now introduced newer insulin options, Humalog and Abasagla, which closely mimics the body's natural insulin response and may improve the quality of life for young patients.
We manage these children with these. If we provide this quality of care, we are likely to have a few in the next 20 years on what? On dialysis. How much is dialysis now? How much are we struggling with dialysis in Malawi? If we are not careful, if we continue using wrong insulins in Malawi, we are likely to put most of these patients on what? On dialysis in 20 years. Because these insulins have proven in most of the African countries that they're not the best insulins, and most of the children, they end up having what? A lot of complications. This is the future of medicine. This is the future in management of children with diabetes in the world as well as in Malawi.
Authorities emphasize that the newly introduced medications are not experimental but are already in use in other countries. Sheila Kasambiza, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Pastor's Voice of Malawi has commended the Democratic Progressive Party DPP administration and President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika for what it calls remarkable achievements within 5 months in office. Speaking during a press briefing in Mzuzu, the group's director, Apostle Makama Molewa, said the DPP government has demonstrated strong leadership and commitment to addressing key socio-economic challenges affecting Malawians. George Mkandawira reports from Mzuzu.
Apostle Mlewa cited the availability of fuel, fertilizer, and maize across the country as major milestones, saying the developments have restored hope among citizens and stabilized their daily lives. He also applauded the introduction of free secondary education, describing it as a transformative policy that will expand access to learning opportunities for vulnerable learners. The grouping further commended the government for investing in road infrastructure and intensifying the fight against corruption, noting that such efforts are critical for economic recovery and public trust.
The message that we've come with today is to tell Malawians that let's move together with this government. And also the introduction of free primary school and secondary school education. If you move around, you see that the enrollment is now big than the past one.
Meanwhile, the pastor's voice of Malawi has appealed to the government to consider banning liquor shops in residential areas to promote public health, safety and moral standards within communities.
Liquor shops in the city, you know, this it promotes. We have girls in the locations, and the prostitutes is encouraged because you find that you are staying in this house, behind that one there is a bar. So the children that are staying in this house, they are always being diced. And because of that, there will be the promotion of HIV and whatever, unnecessary pregnancies. So that's why we are appealing to the government that they should look into this, more especially in the cities.
President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika delivered the State of the Nation address on 13 February 2026. George Nkandawire, MBC, Mzuzu.
The ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, has urged registered voters in Luinga Ward in Mzuzu City to rally behind its local government elections aspirant, Thomas Kaunda, in the forthcoming by-election. The party's Vice President for the North, Japi Mhango, made the call on Sunday at Area 1B Market in Mzuzu during the launch of the DPP campaign rallies in the ward. Ludovico Nyirenda reports.
With only a few days remaining before the Malawi Electoral Commission conducts parliamentary and local government by-elections in some areas, the Democratic Progressive Party DPP has intensified its campaign in Luinga Ward. The by-election follows the postponement of polls in some areas due to various reasons. In Luinga Ward, voting did not take place following the death of one of the contestants. Speaking to the residents gathered at Area 1B during the launch of DPP campaign rallies, DPP Vice President for the North, Japi Mhango, said challenges facing people of Luinga would become a thing of the past if they vote for a DPP councillor to represent them at the council.
Our coming here was to appeal to people of Luinga to vote for Boss Kaunda, who is our candidate in this ward, so that he helps this ward with the development projects. You know that with the devolution, with the new CDF, lots of resources will be coming into the councils, and you need people that have got the capacity, that have got the capability to be able to use those resources and bring meaningful development to their respective wards.
Meanwhile, the DPP candidate Thomas Kaunda assured people in the ward that once elected, he will continue with development projects he already initiated, and he will also introduce the new ones.
The initiative which I've done so far, which people can hold by hands, is security. Security is in me, because I need people to develop. So if there's no develop, it's a concern in security status.
Block leader of the area, Mukwapa Simbizi, has also pledged to continue mobilizing residents to vote for the upcoming by-election. During the launch of the campaign rallies, the DPP also welcomed new members, including some who had previously left the party. In a related development, Muhango said government plans to construct new markets and rehabilitate roads in Ruwinga with the support from World Bank and the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Rudovico Nyerenda, MPC News, Muzuzu.
This is MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Members of Parliament to continue their meeting this afternoon after a weekend recess. Kamuzu Central Hospital rolls out new insulin medication for children living with diabetes. And NAM recruits New Zealander Debbie Fuller as high-performance consultant. Welcome back. Aspiring candidates in the forthcoming by-elections for Maunekera Ward in Goliath Itiolo have been commended for demonstrating political tolerance during the submission of nomination papers. The constituency returning officer for Tiolo Goliath, Christopher Nasenya, made the remarks after receiving nomination papers from the 6 candidates, all male. He noted that supporters coexisted peacefully and interacted amicably despite their political differences. Nasenya said the nomination process was smooth with only minor technical challenges related to network connectivity, which was promptly resolved by technicians from the Malawi Electoral Commission MEC who were present at the venue. Yohane Gizomola caught up with Nasenya.
Nothing else but development. As you can recall, this ward is ward number 1 in the constituency number 1 of the President of the Republic of Malawi. This ward is where late Professor Bingo Mtalika was coming from. May his soul rest in peace. And also the current president who has served 2 terms is coming from this ward. So to me, I want to change the beauty of the wards. I want to bring new Goliaths so that people they should be happy to see that where the president is coming from is also a development area.
The shadow councillors came to present their nomination papers. They were supposed to be 7, but we have received 6. One has decided to withdraw, so we have received 6 nomination papers, and among them we have 5 others and 1 youth. But to our surprise, that all of them are men. We don't have a women representative in the race. We had minor challenges in the morning. We had the problems of network, but because we had the officials responsible for ICT, they intervened and everything went well. The process started now going on well. So far, we don't have much challenges because we have completed them and in time. My words of encouragement is to advise the protesters that they should keep peace all the time they are campaigning. They should accept that the others are also in the race. So for them to compete very well, there must be competitors. So they should accept the competitors, give them their freedom to campaign in any area within the ward of Monekera.
Nkarape District Council officials say over 10,000 households are facing food shortages. District Development Officer of the Council, Jacob Maloko, confirmed the development and described the situation as worrisome. George Mkandawiri reports.
According to Moloko, many families are struggling to access adequate food due to poor harvests and economic challenges. Moloko has since commended Kunyanja Private Secondary School for donating maize and cash amounting to 13 million kwacha to 250 vulnerable households from 20 villages under Senior Chief Mkumbira in the district. He further urged communities to embrace irrigation farming to avert recurring hunger, saying reliance on land-fed agriculture continues to expose households to food insecurity year after year.
We commissioned the Linga irrigation scheme, and then we were also about to commission the Mzenga irrigation scheme and other schemes that are already existing in the district. Apart from that, we have a department, the agriculture department, which is responsible for supporting farmers, training farmers to adapt to climate changes, which is a big issue now in terms of agricultural production.
Kunyanja Private Secondary School Board Chairperson Senior Chief Mkumbira said the donation is part of the school's routine community support initiatives.
For Kunyanja Private Secondary School, it has been our routine that all the previous years, when it comes to months of January, February, March, which is lean period, where most areas face hunger, most villages face hunger, we thought it wise to put it amongst our program that we should be distributing relief items to the most vulnerable people who have surrounded this Kunyanja Private Secondary School. In fact, we have done this for the past 3 years by now.
One of the beneficiaries held Kunyanja Private Secondary School for the donation. Apart from supporting hunger-stricken households, the school has also extended assistance to St. Maria Goretti School for the Blind and Nkharabe Prison, among others, as part of its broader commitment to saving the community. George Nkandawire, MBC, Nkharabe.
The Central Malawi Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church is calling on church communicators to deliver the gospel with clarity and purpose in an increasingly digital world. The appeal came during the 2026 Communicators Conference held in Lilongwe. McDonald Chiwayula reports.
Communicating Christ with clarity was the theme of the 3-day conference, which brought together church communicators from across the Central Malawi Conference. President of the conference, Pastor John Piri, said communication is about making a message common and accessible to everyone.
These are the communicators you've seen. We've pulled from different corners of the conference because we want to share with them, equip them so that they're able to communicate, to make common what we want the people to know. So that's the essence, that's the importance. That's why we brought the people together, to share with them what we want to see happen and to equip them so that they're able to do what we want them to do.
Director of Communication for the conference, Samantha Hawker, said the training aimed at aligning communicators with the strategic direction of the church.
It's a theme that we chose this year because we want not just to communicate Christ, but we want to clarify that at the end of the message that we're going to give them, lost souls must be saved. We bring hope to the people. We should inspire someone to follow Christ. That's basically what it means. We are going to emphasize on the following of Christ, being a disciple of Christ. We are going to emphasize on that one. That's why we chose communicating Christ with clarity.
Participants described the conference as timely, especially in the digital era.
It's true. From this conference, we've gained a lot of valuable knowledge, especially concerning digital evangelism and the use of artificial intelligence. So these are the ways, considering that we're living in a digital world, I feel like this is one way where we'll be able, if we apply these skills, to be able to think outside the box and be able to reach more people and improve our communication.
The church announced plans to establish community and regional radio stations in districts like Dowa and in Chisi. However, financial constraints and insufficient equipment are hindering progress. McDonald Chiwayula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
And in sports, new high-performance consultant for the Malawi national netball team, Debbie Fuller, says it was an easy decision to accept the job. Fuller said this on Sunday on arrival at Chileka Airport from her home in New Zealand. Norbert Jameson reports.
Fuller played for the New Zealand national netball team before serving it as assistant coach. She joins Malawi on a 1-year contract and said she's excited for her new challenge.
I don't think it was a difficult decision. I think it was, I always look at things as an opportunity to go into a new environment and share my knowledge, but also gain knowledge from the expertise that you've got in Malawi as well. So I think it's really exciting to be working with your coaches and the players, and we've had contact. We've had 2 meetings online already, so I've already spoken to the team and already spoken to the coaches. So I guess there's a sense of just waiting to see how everybody's at and where everybody's at, so that we know what we need to do to prepare.
General Secretary for the Netball Association of Malawi, Yamika Nikauma, said Fuller will get down to work today as the team is in camp preparing for the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, as NAM, we are excited with the coming in of Deborah Fuller. We have been waiting for this time, and we are happy to say that our preparations for the Commonwealth Games has started. So we are happy as an association. The first week, we are expecting her to choose the about 25 players. So the first week it will be for trials. By the end of the month, which is on 27 or 28, we'll have about 25 players. That will now take us to Commonwealth Games.
Among her targets, Fuller is tasked to qualify the team for the Netball World Cup and secure a top 7 finish at this year's Commonwealth Games. Norbert Jameson, MBC Sport.
And that's it from our newsroom. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Members of Parliament to continue their meeting this afternoon after a weekend recess. Kamuzu Central Hospital rolls out new insulin medication for children living with diabetes. And NAM recruits New Zealander Debbie Fuller as high-performance consultant. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Upile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
Magomera Community Development College is pleased to announce the training opportunities for generic and weekend programs in the 2026-2027 academic year.